Voting is for suckers. All voting is a sort of gaming, like checkers or backgammon, with a slight moral tinge to it, a playing with right and wrong, with moral questions, and betting naturally accompanies it. The character of the voter is not staked. I cast my vote perchance as I think right, but I am not vitally concerned that the right should prevail. I am willing to leave it to the majority. All obligation, therefore, never exceeds that of expediency. Even voting for the right is doing nothing for it. It is only expressing to men your feeble desire that it should prevail. A wise man will not leave the right to the mercy of chance, nor wish it to prevail through the power of the majority. There is but little virtue in the action of masses of men. When the majority shall at length vote for the abolition of slavery, it will be because they are indifferent to slavery, or because there is but little slavery left to be abolished by their vote. They will then be the only slaves. Only his vote can hasten the abolition of slavery, who asserts his own freedom by his vote. Henry David Thoreau, On Civil Disobedience, 1849. These words cut deeply into me as a boy, and as it has come about in this present century that many of us perceive this as a clear path to political transition from our corrupt and inert political leadership to a new undefined path, to a new way of government for free people, not of free people by an unresponsive bureaucratic government. Consider this simple example of a typical election here in the United States and its results. I am offered a choice of candidate representing cell group A and candidate representing cell group B on a ballot, me thus in common with all other participating voters. I choose to cast my vote for candidate A. With this choice, I implicitly support any vote, speech, or action that candidate chooses to take on my proxy, in any action. Implicitly thus, in fairness, my disaffection for any of these actions may only be redressed in the next election. 2, by the same choice, I also, by extension, equally endorse the similar votes, speech, and actions of the candidate B in the event that the other candidate prevails in the election. Clearly, my endorsement of any candidate as a voter is in all events impotent and worthless, but yet is regardless by office holders as free justification to do just as they like in all cases. This system lays all true political power at the door of the two principal political cell groups, where it is catered out piecemeal to the moneyed interests of individuals and corporations who can afford to buy their agenda, no matter how contrary to those other individuals' interests. Red and blue, etc., are termed political cell groups, for their polar executive functions are secretive and unresponsive to outside input, as was said of communist bugaboos in the past and present-day terrorist cells that serve to justify abuse by government overreach and institutionalized fear-mongering. Our elected political office holders resemble pigs in a trough with no regard for our own interests. Even the Supreme Court of the present Chief Justice John Roberts regime rules as if he had been bought and paid for, and this decision appears now to serve only dishonest ends. Clearly, they serve the people, gouging for every advantage their wealth can purchase for themselves, not for those who are silent in terms of political influence. In that real money sense, whose interests they were ostensibly elected to protect. Even judicial appointments result from the actions and arrangements of the primary political cell groups as chips in their power game. They hold to be two opposing sides, but this is not at all clear to be true. This is merely the analysis this system makes of this present American government. The prescription of its change and improvement is the result described in the subsequent descriptions of variables in this work. The result of this mass public withdrawal from participating in voting for national candidates. At last the emperor will be shown to wear no clothes.
Listen to your woman, but not closely.